Manchester City is not having a great season, are they? They have been knocked out of every competition bar the FA Cup and are already out of the title race with 2 months to go. Is City's hold over England already over? Is Guardiola's magic no longer working in the Premier League? Well, only time can tell you that. But what if we told you that this is not the first time Guardiola City have struggled? Well, without any further ado, let's get into it. Consider subscribing to our channel. It's free and helps us a ton. Thanks. It may seem ludicrous to suggest Manchester City under Pep Guardiola ever struggled. Since Guardiola took over Manchester City reigns, City have won 6 league titles, 4 EFL Cups, 2 FA Cups, a Champions League, a UEFA Super Cup, a Club World Cup. I mean, you name a trophy and City has probably won it. All of this also includes a domestic quadruple, a continental treble, and a few domestic league and cup doubles too. That's an incomparable CV, so it must be surprising to know that Manchester City have had poor seasons under him, or as poor as a modern Manchester City team can be. Remember, poor is subjective. Being judged against Manchester City's lofty modern standards, it is very difficult to say what poor means. We aren't talking about the current season either. So which seasons are we even talking about? Well, how about Guardiola's debut season with Manchester City? Yes, the 2016-17 season. Guardiola's first season with Manchester City, incidentally, is also the only season under him in which City went trophyless. That season bears many parallels with the current season, but also many factors were out of control of Guardiola. Well, to see what happened, we got to go back in time to see what those factors were. So what exactly happened that season? Well, for starters, Guardiola took over a club that was in transition. The previous season saw Manchester City under Manuel Pellegrini struggle a lot. City barely made it into the top 4 with a grand total of only 66 points. In fact, only a positive goal differential kept City over United in the table, allowing them to qualify for the Champions League playoff round. The only consolation was winning the League Cup and reaching the furthest they have ever reached in the Champions League. So unlike the popular belief, Guardiola did not inherit a rampaging great City squad. When Guardiola arrived, City's team was actually kind of struggling. This issue is eerily similar to the current issue City squad is facing. Another parallel was how the season went. City, just like this season, began that season with 6 straight wins and were touted as the favourites to win the Premier League. Yet, midway through the season, City faltered. While City did not go on a record losing streak like the current season, they did go on to lose many matches heavily, like losing 4-0 away at Everton, 4-2 away at Leicester, 3-1 at home to Chelsea, etc. City had similar failures in domestic cups too, crashing out to their crosstown rivals Manchester United in the League Cup and Arsenal in the semi-final in the FA Cup. The biggest heartbreak for City came in the Champions League, where despite winning the home leg 5-3, they were knocked out of the round of 16 to Monaco on the away goal rules. The coincidence was the orchestrator of their ousting was the same as this season, Kylian Mbappe. City finished the league at the 3rd position, 15 points behind the eventual champions Antonio Conte's Chelsea. The season exposed City squad's aging defense and key positions lacking personnel issues. Before the season, a common question asked was if Guardiola, who had dominated Spain with Barcelona and Germany with Bayern Munich, could do it with City in England, and many doubted him, including one of the greatest managers in English football, Sir Alex Ferguson, who said, quote-unquote, he won't find it easy. English football is not easy. It felt all those doubts were vindicated, and maybe Pep was not fit for English football after a trophyless season like this. What happened next was City pretty much replaced their entire backline, especially the full-back positions, bringing in the likes of Kyle Walker, Benjamin Mendy, Danilo, Edison, while Gal Clichy, Bakary Sagna, Pablo Zabaleta and Alexander Kolarov left the club. After the squad overhaul, Manchester City went on a dominating run, winning the Premier League by accruing a record 100 points the next season. They did the Cup and League double by winning the League Cup as well. They continued this domination in the 2018-19 season too, where they pipped Liverpool to the title by a point, in a season where City amassed 98 points to Liverpool's 97. City were in fact so dominant that they swept all the domestic trophies. They won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and if you want to count it, even the Community Shield. While Europe remained elusive, Pep's team had conquered England twice over and looked good for 3 in a row. Or did they? When the 2019-20 season rolled in, City were at the top of the world. Back-to-back Premier League titles, sweeping all the domestic trophies. City even began the season on a positive note by winning the Community Shield against their close title rivals and Champions League winners, Liverpool. This was also their first season without their former captain, Vincent Kompany, since 2007-8 season. And therein lied a problem. While Kompany left for Anderlecht, City did not replace him in close season, hoping the defense they already had would be enough. But the injury bug bit Manchester City hard, and they lost personnel in the most key position, that is the defense. City lost Aymeric Laporte for the major chunk of the season, while John Stones constantly struggled for fitness throughout the season. This forced some players to play out of position, mostly Fernandinho filling in at the centre-back. Manchester City's form through the season remained wobbly, and they just couldn't go on a run and string a few wins together like the previous 2 seasons. By December, City had already dropped more points than they had previous 2 seasons in their entirety. While the season wasn't going well on the pitch, more trouble came City's way off the pitch, as in February 2020, UEFA decided to ban Manchester City from all UEFA club competitions for 2 seasons, citing breach of UEFA financial fair play rules. City appealed the decision, and CAS eventually overturned the ban in July. Amidst all this, the pandemic raged across the world, which led to all football being put on pause. However, before football went on hiatus, City did manage to win the League Cup, beating Aston Villa in the final. They also did another thing that they hadn't done before. They knocked Real Madrid out of the Champions League, winning both the away and the home leg 2-1, beating them 4-2 on aggregate. After returning from the hiatus, by the time City regained their personnel and form, the league title was long gone. Liverpool ended up with 99 points, while City finished 18 points behind them in the second place. Between the 2016-17 season and the 2019-20 season, you can see the pattern of what has plagued City in the current season. Injuries, lack of personnel in key positions affecting City's defense, and lack of replacement of outgoing personnel are all too familiar. At the time of making of this video, City are already out of the Champions League, out of the League Cup, and out of the Premier League title race, with only the FA Cup still remaining a possibility. But the parallels with those 2 seasons cannot be denied, down to the fact that where City were awaiting CAS decision on the UEFA ban, City are awaiting the independent panel's verdict on the 115 charges by the Premier League. So what does it mean for Manchester City? Both the times, City bounced back the very next season in spectacular fashions. All they needed were the injured players come back from injury, while the aging core of the team be replaced by a younger crop of players. What remains to be seen is if Guardiola oversees the transition once again like he has done before. He has at least 1 more season to make the changes, but after that, it all remains to be seen. Thank you for watching. Like if you liked it, share if you found it worthy, and subscribe. This is Salty Football.